welcome to another episode, if you will, of our Digital Teaching Talk podcast covering So I Got My Converted Ultra course, Now What? In this episode, we're going to look at a little bit of gradebook cleanup. When your courses come over, you're going to make some changes, make sure everything works. There might be some things you'll notice in the gradebook that you'll want to fix or take care of. Maybe you've had some old assignments in there. Maybe some other stuff was going on. So it's always a good idea to go through. We're going to look at a specific error that we've seen come across in the conversion and how you can help yourself by getting rid of it. So that being said, I want to take a moment and share the course that we've been looking at. Again, here we are in the demonstrational converted course. To access the gradebook in Ultra, it's pretty simple. Most of the main navigation outside of your course content, which you can edit immediately upon entering the course, is at the top on that tabbed navigation. In our last episode, we showed you how to get to your announcements and then to edit due dates and availability dates and things like that. And remember, announcements was at the top of the screen, right? But also, your gradebook is there. That is the same place that your students can access their gradebook while within your course. So again, another positive, easy, quick way for students to get access. It's not hidden anywhere. It's quickly accessible. It's in the same place across all courses. So it reduces the anxiety that might come from, I can't seem to find it. It's in the same place in all their Ultra courses. So in that regard, it'll be better for them. So in this particular course, each of our modules has a quiz, and then there's also a midterm in them. So I'm here in this course, and I can open up and see that my quiz is right there. It's unavailable. I can go down to Module 2. Again, the quiz is unavailable. All the content in this course is unavailable. We talked about how to fix that in our last episode. But I'm just looking through the course and seeing each of these things, right? Here's the quiz. It's unavailable, the whole 9 yards. I can keep going. So what I want to do is make sure that all my grades are set up correctly in my gradebook. And a quick way for me to check that is just look at the gradebook. Now, when we talk about your gradebook, and I just clicked on the gradebook tab, which is why our view changed, the default place that you land on, you can change. You could say, when I go to the gradebook, I want to land in my spreadsheet view, or I want to land in kind of what we like to think of as a needs grading on steroids, or gradable items list view. The gradable items list view tells us things like, okay, what's submitted? What category is it? When was it due? And what's the grading status? Do I have anything to grade in that wonderful column? So again, if I had something to grade here, which I don't, it's an empty, there's no students in the course, it would tell me. I could then click on quiz 1 and start to sort by things that I need to grade. And we covered this in our grading webinar, so please, we have those recorded. They're already in the Instructor Support Org. You can watch those, or you could sign up for one of our micro-learning opportunities specifically dealing with grading. So I hope either one of those is going to be helpful for you. But I wanted you to see something here that's a little disconcerting when I first looked at this, right? So I seem to think, okay, these were quiz 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, but I seem to remember in my content they were unavailable. So what's this stuff? Well, I'm going to scroll down, and you're going to see that there's actually, here they are, just unavailable. So apparently, in our transition, they made duplicate columns for each one of these quizzes for whatever reason. I'm not certain as to why, but I need to make sure to get rid of the duplicates. So how do I know it's a duplicate? Well, a quiz, when I go to edit it, is going to have questions. It's going to have the things in the test that I need to take the test as a student, right? If it's just a gradebook column, all it's going to have is column information. How can I determine that? How can I find out if that's the case? So, good question. So here are the hidden quizzes. Here, this says quiz 1, but there's nothing there. So if I want to go to the right-hand side of my screen are the 3 dots, right? And I'm actually gonna, it seems like my screen's a little messed up, so I'm gonna bring it a little more, there we go. So here under quiz 1, I can hit my 3 dots and hit edit. When I hit edit, it just tells me it's a column. There's no other information here. There's no test questions or things like that. Let me show you the difference. So when I close that, I scroll down, I'm gonna go to my real quiz 1 down here with the slash in it. I'm going to hit the 3 dots, and I'm going to hit edit again. oh, here are my questions. They're pulling from pools in my course. Woohoo! Hurrah! My stuff is here. I haven't lost it, right? So that's how I differentiate. So in this case, I can come back here to this quiz 1 and delete it. Simple as that. And it's gone. And I'm going to do the same thing here and hit delete. It's gone because I've already looked at these, by the way. So it's not like you're missing them. These are all not real things that aren't graded. These are columns that were made duplicate in my course around the actual item. Something when the way the course translated in the import created these duplicate columns. So I'm going to keep going until I get down to where I need to go. And I'm going to go on here and delete again and delete again. And finally, I'm going to delete this quiz, this last quiz. Because as I scroll down, I've got quizzes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, these last two things, course letter grade was the old total column, I think, from the original course. And I'm going to walk you through how you can set up those now. But just know that that's how this came through. So looking here, you'll notice I've got final exam, I've got midterm exam. What happens when I edit the final exam? All right, there we go. Okay, cool. So I've got the midterm exam here. So now I'm going to close this. Actually not going to close it. I'm going to switch between views. So now what I want you to see is reorganizing things in my course is going to be interesting. But first I want to show you the other view. So right now we're in gradable items. I can actually also grade by student. So when I went to Gradebook up here, it default landed me on this page, which is that needs grading on steroids that we talked about, right? Instead, I want to see a different view. Well, I can also grade by student. If I had students in this course, which I don't, I can click on the student preview and they would show up here, and I can click on the student's name and see all the grades for that particular student and get in and learn a little bit more about each of those students, right? And see how their progress is doing in the course. What have they clicked on? All that good stuff. But instead, I'm going to stay here with gradable items. But now you see that's the hamburger menu. That's the 3 lines. That's that gradable items list view that we've been talking about. Now I'm going to switch over to the old reliable spreadsheet view. We used to call this in Blackboard Original the Grade Center. In Blackboard Ultra, it's just the grade book with a grid view, right? And here's that grid. If I had students, they would be displayed right here, and their grades would be displayed right here as well. So you'll see here, these are columns that were created: final exam, mind tap, and I think the final exam was actually done in class for this specific course. So anyway, you see all of these here. I might want to come in and make some changes. So I might want to take and move the final exam and course letter grade and mind tap to the end of my grade book, so it's not shown up somewhere else. So this is another part of that reorganization that we're talking about. How does that work? Well, in the old Grade Center, I would have to go to like a menu and organize and go to manage. It was a couple of clicks to get there. It's really easy to reorganize stuff in your grade book in Ultra. You start by being in your gradable items list view, and you're going to notice next to each one of these items is an up and down arrow. Well, I'm going to take, for example, my final exam and drag it down to the bottom underneath quiz 7. Whoops, one more time. It slowly goes down. There we go. And I'm going to keep dragging it down. And depending upon how finicky your mouse is going to be, there it is. So I drug it all the way down to the bottom. And I can do the same thing for each one of these. Like I can move mind tap down, because mind tap is going to be maybe above final exam, right? And then course letter grade. That used to be the overall grade. And we'll take a look at that a little later, but I can take it and bring it down. Course letter grade was just the ability for the instructor to put the letter grade of the course in. Now, so now I have reorganized these items. So if I go back to my grid view, you will see quiz 1 starts, and it goes all the way to where it's supposed to in the course, which is great. So I can scroll all the way to my right and see the course letter grade where it's supposed to be, final exam where it's supposed to be, mind tap where it's supposed to be. And then I can scroll back, and there you go. So now I know my gradebook is in order. Huzzah, right? Pretty nice. So that's helpful in your setup. One of the things that you'll want to do and thinking about how Ultra reports grades is you want to set up the overall grade from your course. When you set up the overall grade for your course, it actually shows up right here next to the student's name. So it keeps like a running tabulation of their overall grade. And there are 3 different ways to set up your overall grade in your courses. To do so, you just go to this wonderful column that says set up the overall grade and choose set it up. It then gives you options. You can choose to go by points. You can choose to do it by weighted. You can choose to do it by some advanced formulas that you want to add in. Points, as simple as that, right? I could choose to change my overall grade to points and say I want it to be points. And were I to do so, I could actually click on show examples and it would show you like assignment categories, total. It just tabulates the number of points per thing. So assignment 1, 100, assignment 2. So you know there's 200 points in assignments so far. Final exam was worth 300, overall grade 500, right? So that's kind of their idea of what the points the point system is. Weighted allows me to do percentages based upon category or items, right? Just like it did before. Pretty easy. And then the other advanced is using calculated formulas to do some, I would just call special things in your course. So in terms of points, were I to click next, it would then show all of the items in my course. Now, it would show every category as possible. In this case, this course only uses tests to grades. So right now, there are some other items in here. Mind tap might be a grade, so it looks like these are manual columns that were created by the instructor, and they can come in and do that. However, here, I can show all of my tests. So I can go down and see that each test is worth a certain amount of points. And they've got the final exam in there as well and the midterm. So you can see how the total points would show up. Those are all, in this case, tests. So the final grade in this case for the entire course is going to be 270 points. Now, by default, as the instructor, even though I said it's going to be 270 points as the final grade, I can choose to show the overall grade in a way that I want. Do I want it to be letter? Do I want it to be points? Do I want it to be percentage? Do I want it to be complete, incomplete? So that's up to me. So I could choose points or letter in this case. I like the letter because it just automatically gives you, if you reach the 270 out of 270, boom, you're going to get what you need. I can do percentage. What is my percentage of 270 points that I've done? I can do that. And then complete, incomplete, or points. So again, that's where that's set. Now, here's a checkbox, kind of important. Calculate grades based on points earned out of total graded points. Right? If that's what I want it to do, then I'm making sure that checkbox is there. Okay? So that's points-based. I can actually switch to weighted from this view, right? I only have one category here, so I'd have to weight by item or category. So there's not a lot I can really do fancy to show you in this particular course. But you can see here, assign percentage values to grading categories and items for an overall grade worth 100 points. So right now, I don't have anything but tests in here. So there are no journals, there are no presentations, there are no anything. So I can get rid of these simply by clicking the arrow, right? So I have 9 tests in this course. So I could then open it up just to show you. Here we are, right? So I would need to change the values of each of these. But I wanted to show you this is where they lived. Anyway, I hope that this particular tutorial has helped you figure out where stuff is in your gradebook, how you can move it around, and how you can switch between your views. We cover these things in our other webinars in instructional development, specifically the grading and tracking student performance and progress. We have a webinar recording of that you can go watch. We also have one on assignments, assessments, and tests and how to get those in your course that you can watch. Beyond that, as a reminder, starting this month, we've started our new micro-learning opportunities where we spend 30-minute blocks across the month working on a specific thing. It's a hands-on. We walk you through it. It's super valuable. I would highly suggest signing up for one of those. I appreciate your time again today. I hope you're doing well, and good luck.